Hi everyone. So we're picking up where we left off. This is a short chapter first, so we'll just go through it. This is Genesis 50. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph told the physicians who served him and embraced his father's body, so Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days, and the Egyptians mourned his death for 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisers and said, "Please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear an oath and said to me, 'Listen, I am about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in the tomb I have prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without a delay.'" Pharaoh agreed with Joseph's request. "Go and bury your father." As he made the promise, he said, Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by Pharaoh's officials and all the senior members of Pharaoh's household and all the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household, his brothers, his sisters, and their sisters, and they left the little children and their flocks in the land of Goshen. And great numbers of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived in the trenches floors of Atad, near the Jordan River, they held a very large solemn memorial service with 7 days period of mourning for Joseph's father, and the local residents and the Canaanites watched them mourning at the trenching floors of the Atad. Then they renamed the place which was near the Jordan Abel Mizraim, for they said, "This is the place of deep mourning for the Egyptians." So Jacob's sons did as he commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mir, in the cave where Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site from Ephron the Hittite. After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers who had accompanied him in his father's burial, but now they feared for their death. Joseph's brothers became fearful. "Now Joseph will show his anger and repay us back for all the wrong we did to him," they said. So they sent a messenger to Joseph. "Before your father was dead, he instructed us to say to you, 'Please forgive your brothers for all the great wrong that they did to you, for their sins of treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of God, of your father, beg you to forgive us of our sins. Beg you to forgive us of our sin." When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we are your slaves," he said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. He brought me out of the position. He brought me into this position so that I could save many people. Do not be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. So Joseph and his brothers and their families continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived for 110 years. He lived to see the third generation of his descendants, the sons of Ephraim, and as he lived and seen the births of the children of Manasseh's sons, Machir, who claimed to be their own. "Soon I will die," Joseph told his brothers, "but God will surely come and help you and lead you out of this land of Egypt." It says, "He will bring you back to the land he solemnly promised to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Then Jacob made the sons of Israel swear an oath, and he said, "When God came to help you and lead you back, you take my bones with you." So Joseph died at the age of 110. The Egyptians embalmed him, and his body was placed in a coffin in Egypt. And that is the end of Genesis 50:26.